Hi again. Let's take a look at the assignments for the course. So on the navigation panel at the left, I'm going to click Assignments, and I've divided them up into major units and then sprinkled in between, I think, are 4 or 5 kind of bigger assignments. Or, well, assignments, not necessarily bigger. The orientation unit is all the things you would do to orientate to the class. So for every major unit, there's a little table of the assignments that have to be done for that unit and their due dates. So for example, in the orientation, they have to review all the information, they have to post to the discussion board, they have to submit the orientation quiz, and they have to submit this little getting to know you survey. So I'm going to click the orientation folder to go inside. And that's where then I've got a little video welcome for students. I have the orientation guide to help them see the overview of the orientation. Here's a link to the discussion board. Remember from the last video, students can get to the discussion board from the left, but they can also just do it here. Here's the instructions beneath, and if they click this link, they go right to that discussion board and create a thread. Okay, back to the orientation folder. They have to take an orientation quiz, so they just click to start that quiz. And they have to submit this getting to know you survey. So under every single assignment, I have the instructions for it, and then that link is how you submit it. And again, I have the dates at the bottom with all of the stuff that they have to do as just a little reminder. So we have the due dates in several spots. Now, one of the things I didn't do is that on every link where you submit something, you can also attach the due dates. And most students expect this. It pops up in their little Blackboard calendar that way and stuff like that. So on every single assignment, I would highly recommend that you click the link and then look for, oh, not that way. Now we're pretending to be a student. Let me reverse. So we're going to go back here again. On every single thing a student submits, click this little arrow and say edit. That's where it is. What a silly mistake on my part. And then there's the due date. So I forget when the survey is due. I don't know, I think it was September 4th or something like that. But I didn't put them in there because I didn't know if those are the due dates that you wanted. But really that's where students look for their due dates, is in the link to the assignment. And like I said, it syncs to so many other things. So for every single thing a student submits, you should identify the due date. Okay, let's go over a real unit. The orientation is really, it's not a real unit. Let's go over a real unit. And what I did is I mirrored the textbook called Multicultural Education, the mainstay book for the course. So that's what I incorporated into this Blackboard site. I didn't know what selected readings you wanted from the other book, so you'll have to add those. All right, so again, every major unit starts with an overview, and then students have to do what I'm calling learning activities and then assessment activities. The learning activities are what they do to learn, right? These activities are for your learning. They don't earn points, but they help the student prepare for the homework, and the homework is called the assessment activities. And every unit has different kinds of assessment activities. So every unit has chapters to read from the book Multicultural Education. So every unit has chapters to read, and that means every unit has chapter quizzes as well. But I also have additional stuff. And one of them for every unit is an assignment guide. The student has to complete an assignment guide. But then they might have to do other things too, like here they have to post to the Chapter 1 discussion board. So this tells them what they have to do. It gives them the overview and it tells them what they have to do. Then beneath that, they have the links to get it done. So they have to do the assignment guide, as I mentioned. I created a little video to show them how to do the assignment guide. Here's the link to submit the discussion board post. Here's the link to the quiz. Here's the link to the other quiz. And then again, at the bottom, they have the little checklist reminder. Hey, did you do all of these things? Oops, I have to fix that one. I don't have the discussion board post. Oh, yeah, I don't have so I'll fix that. All right, let's back up and take a look at the assignment guide, because that's something that most students aren't familiar with. So again, every unit has an assignment guide. I'm going to go ahead and open up this first one. Oh, not there. Here it is, assignment guide. They are Word documents, so if that doesn't work well for you and you want me to convert them to PDFs, I might just do that anyway, because not every student, no, it has to be a Word document. It can't be a PDF, because the student has to complete it. So if we were in the regular classroom, these are the interactive activities that I want students to do to engage with the material that they're learning. I don't want them to just read the book and take a quiz, read the chapter and take a quiz. Like, right, we're teachers. That's the worst possible way to teach content. Because it's an online class, I couldn't let go of those quizzes. If I was in the classroom, I could let go of those quizzes. But in an online environment where I don't see them, I just made the quizzes much smaller. It's just a little checkpoint to make sure they're doing the reading. But then the real interaction is here in these assignment guides. So this is for the first, and an assignment guide is not per chapter, it's per unit. So there's not that many, and they're kind of big. So, okay, bear with me. Introduction to Issues and Concepts. This is our unit. It encompasses 2 chapters, chapter 1 and chapter 2. Other units have like 4 chapters, 3 chapters. And this is the assignment guide. The student doesn't have to fill out this top part, but they can if they want. I thought I might as well make it so that you could use it in the classroom too, if you wanted to. Again, they have to read chapter 1. After they read chapter 1, then they do the activities. So step B, complete the table below. And there's the instructions for it. And then they'll complete the table. Now, how do they know? So what they're going to do is they're going to identify the variables that influence student behavior. Well, how do they know that? It's actually right in the book. So students who have read chapter 1, they'll be like, I saw this table. This is like whatever, page 9, I think, or 8, or I don't know, I don't remember. And they could just fill this out. It's right in the book. And the same thing here with complete the diagram. This diagram is in the book. So the student will open up the assignment guide and they'll just add their little X's to, whatever the right answer is. You'll have to pay attention to what every activity is worth. They're all worth different kinds of points. It depends on what the student does. So here in this table, there's 20 boxes. So if they get all 20 boxes right, they get all 20. Either the absence of an X or the proper X gets a point. This thing is worth 16, which is a little bit trickier because they have to give the right name and the right description. And there's 4 of them. So basically each box is worth 4. And then they can click right. So this is tricky. Like if you know Microsoft Word, you know you can click over here and type in, here's my answer. But if they don't know that, they could print this and handwrite it, or they could just start typing and figure it out. You can get the cursor to show up here. But I did include, right? So this is maybe a little bit trickier, and I'm not trying to trick students, but I am trying to push them because technology is so much a part of what we're doing. And let's just think about the pandemic we're living in, right? Teachers are now having to start to use technology. So I'm just using Microsoft Word as one way to sort of push students to think about, I don't know how to do this. How am I going to solve this problem? If I don't know how to use this little box feature, how do I figure this out? That's what I'm trying to get at here. And again, you could throw this whole thing away. You're the teacher. You get to decide whether you want to do it or not do it, put up with it or not put up with it. Okay. The next step, read chapter 2. And then they have some essay questions. And guess what? These are taken right from the end of chapter 2. What's the role of culture? And now, right, this is one where it's very open-ended. You have this essay question. They could write a couple of pages on this if they wanted to. It's worth 24 points. So you get to decide. This one is a subjective, how you want to award those points. There's 2 questions here from the end of the chapter. So you get to decide how in-depth. I've left it completely open-ended, again, to push the students. How much do they think is enough? How much is not enough? With any luck, students will ask you, how much do I have to write for this? 50 words? Whatever. 100 words? 200 words? So you get to decide how you want to do that one. This last one is web research, trying to get students, because they're so early in their career, trying to get them to use the tools that are available to them when they come across a situation where they don't know. And so in this case, I'm just asking them to Google it or use a different search tool to find a classroom activity that can teach students a broad understanding of culture. So they have to identify, in the classroom activity that they find, they have to identify grade level. Is it for kindergartners or for high schoolers? They have to provide the source of the activity. Where's the URL? Where'd they find this? And then the classroom activity must include instructions to the students, any notes to the teacher, right? If we're going to play a game of, I don't know, the trust fall game, I don't know, whatever. You know, the note to the teacher is move all the desks to the side, and the instructions are to the student, line up in a, someone turns around and closes their eyes, and then the expected outcomes. And so they could put all of their answers below, save this document, and submit it. That's an assignment guide. That's an assignment guide. So it's a little bit complicated, right? That's why I have a video to go over it. Now, this video is really long. Students aren't going to listen to a 20-minute video. So my videos are short. You might want to make another one, go in depth. You might want to not include the assignment guide, whatever, right? You can do whatever you want for this course. I'm just showing you what I'm giving you as an option. Okay, back out to assignments. So I think there are 6 major units. I'm not counting the orientation. That's just orientation to the class. The first one is issues and concepts. The next one is social class and religion. The next one is gender. The next one is race, language, diversity, and civic education. The next one is exceptionality. And then the last one is school reform and classroom assessment. Those are the major units. Sprinkled in between, did you notice? Sprinkled in between, we have some assignments, some additional assignments. This course is 16 weeks and 3 credits, so it's gotta feel like it means it. And I did want to break it up a little bit. I didn't want to have the same old thing over and over again. So I think there's 4 or 5 assignments sprinkled in between, and they each tackle an idea in a different way. So the first one is called Research, Write, and Collaborate. And so you can go ahead and take a look at that. But that's just totally separate. It's an independent assignment. It's not dependent on any specific chapter per se. But for this one's about religion, I think. Is this one the one? I can't remember. Yeah. Religion in the classroom. But it's just, they're just writing a 1-page report. So the students will read the instructions. I have a little bit of info about, how to write a 1-page report, like how do we, just an idea of how we might want it to come in. I'm not using APA style, stuff like that. So I have a little video overview for that. The next assignment, the next kind of independent assignment is a gender video report. So this time, instead of doing a 1-page report, they're going to create a video, I think I say 2 to 5 minute video, and submit that instead. And I give instructions and a little help on how to do that. Data reporting, this is a really interesting one. So in this one, I want students to go out and gather data, just data, hard facts and numbers, and report that back as information. Because in education, as you know, we get hit with data all the time. Graduation rates are low. Well, what does that mean? Right? So and this is a first semester course, so it's not heavy. It's just light. Go get some data, and it can be anything, related to students with disabilities, and report it back. And then again, I have a little video to show them how to use Excel, because I'm asking them to, again, I'm pushing them out of the nest to use something that maybe they haven't used before, Microsoft Excel, to report that data, to turn it into information and use it. So what did I say? That was data reporting. That was that assignment. And then the last one is called Communities, Families, and Educators. And this one's a presentation. So you can see first they did a paper, then they did a video, then they did the data reporting, and now they're just going to do a presentation. And this can be PowerPoint, Google Slides, whatever. I'm just giving them things to respond to. This one's very actually easy. Students will, I think, get this right off the bat. I'm just looking for their critical thinking on how parents and community members are involved with school. All right, then, so that's the last independent assignment.